What is your question?
You said there's no sickness in God, but people, men of God, even now they have terminal illnesses, and even after prayer, sometimes, I mean, they die. That they don't get healed. Is it all? Is it because they were not in faith, or is it something else?
See, it's very dangerous to relegate that to faith. A person I know, her husband was a pastor. He died in a motorcycle accident. Was it because he didn't have faith?
No.
Do you understand? So we do not know why that happens. But we know that God's will is for that healing to manifest. Meaning, why that person died, we do not know. Because we can't generalize that. But if you bring a specific situation and you study more about it, you will know. Do you understand? Why I am saying the word is effective? Because it has been effective throughout my life. Ranjit, for example, was in the ICU, yeah? We didn't know his left from his right. And the Lord delivered him from that. Do you understand? Like that, we see it's easy to generalize that, saying that he has no faith. And who had faith when like the widow who was carrying her dead son? Who had faith? Jesus had compassion, yes. But of course he had faith, but whose faith was at work there? Do you understand? You take the Syrophoenician woman, never in the Bible does it say the daughter had faith to be healed, yeah? Do you understand?
Yes.
Because it was her faith that you could say that persisted. So faith, it does play a part in it. Faith in Christ, yes, but we can't generalize. Am I making sense? Yes? So a specific case, if you study more, you'll understand more. But it's dangerous to generalize. Do you understand? When you generalize, you make a lot of mistakes. Like, for example, I had a pastor tell me that it's because of a sin in my life that God decided to punish me. I was like, this is wrong, because we don't serve a punishing God. And if there was sin in my life, God would talk to me about it. That's one. Do you understand? There are many things wrong with it, yes? I'm not saying that if God leaves me alone or takes his hand off me completely, and no, this could not happen. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that, remember I spoke about sacred cows? Yeah, understand it's the will of the Lord to heal. And God means good. He's a good God. And there's a bad devil. Don't mix up both. So we do not know why people die. Do you understand? Personally, your and my job is to empty out all the hospitals. Like one doctor told me, hey, you are going to make me out of business. I said, yes. Do you understand? Because the Lord healed him. And I went to him because of whatever. He was my doctor. Yeah? Do you understand? So, does that answer your question? Yes? So, it all depends on the situation. Unless you go, you will not know. Do you understand? But understand the victory is the Lord's. He never fails. Do you understand? So as you go, we take it step by step as it comes. Yes?
Yes.
But go we must. just sitting and doing nothing is useless. Yes? Remember when I asked you to pray last week? In this place, there was a lot of hesitation. If you hesitate here, how can you function in the world? Do you understand? You must be bold. You must not think too highly of yourself. Do you understand? You must have faith. Yes. You must have faith in Christ Jesus. But I can't answer your question because it will be generalizing. Do you understand? Yeah. Do you have any questions?
Pastor, on this note, what she was saying, I always wondered, for example, why when Sister Glorious and they came, I used to wonder why
they die.
Yes.
Because when you look at Sister Glorious, for example, she had a leg in two boats, yes? Remember I was speaking about divine healing and the doctors? Either you have one or the other. Secondly, she was Catholic, if I'm right, yes?
Yes.
So, do you understand what I mean, yeah? So, there was a limit to which I could pray for her. But whenever that prayer was done, was there not healing? Yes. Do you understand? So what she did, we do not know. That's why it's important. See, when you read Revelation, it says sin, the last thing is what? Sin no more. Do you understand? They didn't love their life more than... do you understand? That's important. So we do not know what happened in her case specifically. But you can understand, yeah? Does that answer your question? Yes, Anu.
I don't know which scripture, but there's a portion wherein the disciples were trying to cast out the demon and they couldn't. And Jesus said, this one will come out only with fasting and prayer.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
how?
That's after the transfiguration, yes? When they... Now, if you go to that portion, I think it's in John. If this kind comes out only by fasting and prayer. If you go to Matthew 17, I think Matthew, it's in the New Testament, Matthew 17, yes, verse 21. However, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. Yes?
Yes.
Is that verse there or in your Bible? Or is there a mark next to it?
It's in red color.
Huh? What?
Is there a mark next to it?
Something omits this verse?
Yes. Yes.
So is fasting more powerful than Jesus?
No.
Do you understand?
Okay.
Suppose this verse was there, yes? It's because of your unbelief, yeah? No, fasting will make you more sensitive to God, yes? But it does not make your authority or change your authority. You have been given that authority whether you fast or not.
Yes.
Whether you're ready for it or not, yeah? Do you understand? You don't tell the demon, wait, let me fast and I'll come back and no. Do you understand? Is that clear?
Yes, yes.
Does that answer your question? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. So fasting and prayer will make you more sensitive. Prayer is what? You communion with God. It's not you're not praying for that demon to leave that person, yeah? Because you have been given that authority, yes or no?
Yes.
See, when you look at it that way, it's very clear. What drives a demon out? Prayer or your authority?
Authority.
Yes. So here it says if it's there, prayer and fasting is for you or for your authority.
For me.
Exactly. Do you understand? So sharpen your axe. Be ready in season and out of season. Do you understand?
What does omits this verse mean?
It's not there on that verse. If you, I don't know, the same thing is repeated elsewhere in the Gospels, and this verse 21 is not there. Do you understand? But do you understand? Whether it be there or not, it's nothing to do with authority. It has to do with you sharpening your axe.
Okay.
Do you understand? Meaning, if you have your pastor on speed dial, it doesn't help. If you know Jesus, of Jesus, it doesn't help. You need to have authority.
Yes.
Because the demon said, Jesus I know, Paul I know, who are you? And because it's, excuse me. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes? Is that, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yes.
Pastor, one thing. Pastor, you just mentioned that while praying for healing, first you asked to leave the demon, leave the sickness, first to leave the sickness,
Yes.
then heal.
See, first the demon has to leave because the demon is causing sickness. Do you understand? So that
So
you
every sickness is causing demon.
caused by a demon, yes.
Okay.
Is there sickness with God?
No.
If man had not fallen, would there be sickness? So understand that every sickness. Yesterday, for example, somebody had mental sickness and he was taking medicine. So the Lord told me about suicidal mentality and depression and all that. So without me asking, He told me. Do you understand? So he did not believe that this is spiritual. That's why you should watch yesterday. But doesn't matter what they believe. You have been given that authority, and that's why this was cast out. There was a visible change in him, in that person. Do you understand? So every sickness is not from God. Do you understand? And sickness is caused by something that is not of God. And what is not of God,
Yes.
you have been given authority over. Do you understand? Does that answer your question? Yes.
So if we pray for some sickness, so first we need to.
Don't be spooky about it.
Okay.
Understand your authority. Try the demon out. Speak to the person to be healed. Now, yesterday when the cameras were off, somebody was talking about a person's dog having cancer. Do you understand? Now, do you remember praying?
Yes.
Yes? His two dogs had food poisoning and were in the hospital. They were about to die there. Like this, yeah? So I went there and both the dogs are like looking at me like, So praying was like in tears. Like, Pastor, please pray for my dogs. And the doctor was like, what? So I prayed for those dogs and they got better. Do you understand? So, nothing is stopping you from praying for an animal also. Do you understand? Because, do you remember I spoke death over a cat once? Because the cat was going all over? Yeah? We are not called to speak that death. Do you understand? We are called to give life. And only Jesus can give that life. Do you understand? But you have been given that authority. So you command the sickness to leave. And then you command that person to be healed. But understand, you're doing it by the authority of Jesus Christ. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah? It's not any power you have gained. Like somebody told me, a priest has gained a lot of power by taking cold showers at 3 o'clock in the morning. He had cold water thrown on him. And because of that, he's got lots of power. Do you understand? That's not how we do it. It's Jesus' authority. You don't have any power. Do you understand? Does that answer your question? Yes? Yes.
So there's one verse, Joshua 5:1.
Yeah.
It says, as soon as all the kings of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan to the west and all the kings of Canaanites who were by the sea heard that the Lord had dried up the waters of Jordan for the people until they had crossed over.
Yeah.
Their hearts melted and there was no longer any spirit in them because of the people of Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your question?
My question is that no longer any spirit in them.
Is the S capitalized?
No.
No. That means human spirit, yes. Meaning there was no longer any willingness to fight. Do you understand? Do you understand? So suppose you pick a fight with somebody and you pull them, like I've seen this happen, you pull somebody out of the car. They're like 7 foot tall and you're what, 5 foot. Yeah? Get back in the car, please. I'll fight you later, yeah? Do you understand, yeah? So that's what it means, there was no spirit left in them. They're not willing to fight because they knew they're gonna lose. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
This one. In Matthew chapter 22, the parable of the wedding feast, I didn't understand the verse 11 but when the king came in to see the guests, he saw a man there who did not have a wedding garment. So he said to him, "Friend, how did you come in here without a wedding garment?" He was speechless. I mean, people from the road were called for the wedding, so how was he expected to have?
Whether you're from the road or you're from the palace, you're expected to wear the garments of righteousness. Without that, there is no entrance. Because what is of unrighteousness is sin. Does that make sense? Yes? So that is what it means about garments, yeah? You study that in the book of Revelation, you study that throughout the New Testament about you clothing, you clothe with Christ, you clothe with righteousness. That's talking about that. Do you understand? It answers your question?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
No question.
You don't have to ration out any questions. You can ask us many questions as you want. Yeah?
Deuteronomy 22:12.
Deuteronomy 22, 12. 22, verse 12. Yeah.
So it's It says, you must make tassels on the four quarters of your clothing with which you cover yourself.
Yes.
What is the purpose of these tassels?
Okay, now this is in the Old Testament. It's just saying that you must have weights on your skirts. For
Must have?
example, weights on your
Weights.
skirts so that they don't fly around and so that you don't expose yourself.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand? Because it says you shall make tassels on four corners of the clothing with which you cover yourself. Yes? Do you understand? See, God thought of all this. If you read the rights and regulation of all these clothing, it's not a simple thing, yeah? But again, I stress that this is in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, a woman and a man, they're not supposed to show off. It's a content of our heart more than anything else. Do you understand? Because suppose now, on Sunday, you're supposed to come with your most expensive clothing. At one time, my pants were what? At that time, 4,000 rupees. I mean, nowadays 4,000 rupees is not much. But at that time, they were denim, they were jeans. Do you understand? And they were, so you don't wear, if you wear that to a church in Kerala, oh, you're of the devil. Yeah? Some churches think that. So do you understand? Yeah? Use wisdom, but understand what's in your heart. Yeah. I'm not saying denim is of the devil, yeah, or jeans is of the devil. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that what some people say. Do you understand? Yeah. So, meaning you cannot have a formula. It's the content of your heart. What may be stylish may not be stylish for me. Do you understand? But modesty is different from stylism. Yes. Is there a word called stylism? Okay. I just made that up, yeah? Do you understand? I coined a new word. Yes. But you understand what I mean, yeah? So be modest. If somebody wears a miniskirt at church, that is not modesty. You tell them. That's not right. Do you understand? So that, you understand what I mean, yeah? Okay. Nobody has any. And you have any more questions? Are you sure? Okay. You're sure? Huh? Okay, let's pray.
The people who sat in darkness have seen a great light.